Ever wonder what gives epic music that incredible, larger-than-life inspirational feel? I'm talking about music that sounds like this. Doesn't that instantly make you feel heroes, battles, and sweeping landscapes? Today, we're kicking off a mini-series on epic music creation. In this first video, I'm going to focus on harmony and try to answer the question of what chord progressions are best for this kind of music. Don't worry, we'll get into other elements such as melody, rhythm, and orchestration in the next videos. Let's start by listening to a stripped-down version of this example to help us focus on the harmony. We have here the short strings in red and the long strings in orange. Okay, so a few things I can say about this harmony right off the bat. It's in a minor key. All the chords are diatonic, which means they include only notes from our main musical scale. In this example, it's D minor. For the most part, these are simple chords with 3 notes, no more. And the movement is quite slow, with each chord being held for 2 whole bars. You might be thinking, okay, that's just one chord progression, but it doesn't mean that all epic music tracks have to follow this kind of harmony. However, after listening to quite a few epic music tracks, I've come to the conclusion that these attributes are actually an essential part of that epic feel. Let's start with the diatonic principle. I created a little alternate chord progression with chromatic chords that go outside our main scale. It starts with the same D minor chord, but then goes up half a step to E flat major 7. Then another half step, E half diminished, and finishes up with A flat dominant sharp 11. Musically, this is coherent and actually has an interesting color to it. Let's see what happens when I take this progression into our epic track. I think we can safely say that this wouldn't fit as background music for a heroic, emotional movie scene. Next, we have the idea of simple 3-note chords. Here I have a version with more than 3 notes in each chord. I added some 7th and 9th chord tones that definitely give the chords much more color. This is what they sound like on piano. Now let's see what that does to our track. Nope, that won't work either. I think the colorful chords reduce a lot of the chord's power. Simple chords convey a clear and powerful message, and it seems that any addition, beautiful as it may be, comes at the expense of this coherence. Moving on, we said we want a relatively slow chord movement. Here's an example of rapid chord changes, just to check what that will sound like. What a mess. Here again, I'd say that simplicity wins the game. The last characteristic of epic harmony that I mentioned is its minor tonality. Let's try to transpose our chord progression into major and see what happens. Okay, so this totally sounds decent, but it's pretty clear that it doesn't sound as epic as the minor progression. Now, we didn't add any chromatic stuff or change the pacing, so the issue here isn't complexity versus simplicity. I think it relates to the emotional impact that we usually want to achieve with this kind of music. It seems to me that minor tonality is better suited for a dramatic effect and allows for more complex emotions than major tonality. I'm not 100% sure about this though, so if you've got some other ideas about this, please share them in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So to recap, if you want your music to sound epic, a good starting point for harmony would be a simple diatonic chord progression moving relatively slowly in a minor key. Now remember, we're talking about music and creativity here, so any rules I share are not hard set laws, but rather guidelines for staying within this specific genre. I strongly encourage you to try unconventional things and bend the genre a bit. For me, that's when the really creative and unique ideas come out. So that's it for today. If you have any ideas of yours on what makes a good epic chord progression, please don't keep them to yourselves. Drop them in the comments below so we can all learn from each other. If you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could like the video and hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and help you get notified when I release the next video, which will be all about creating melodies for epic music. Until then, goodbye.